It's going to be fairly sunny here, I think, today, but not as warm as it was yesterday. It was a superb day yesterday. So some just reporting back on day 4, which was a really interesting day because we did some speed dating as well as some quite in-depth meetings with 2 agencies we hadn't seen for a while. So that was really interesting. So the first agency we saw was the Havas Group, and Chris Hurst, who is the global CEO for Havas Creative, gave us an overview of what's happening with the global business. That's Havas Media, Havas Health, and Havas Creative. They've certainly been very busy in the last couple of years in terms of transformation. They also, as a network, believe that unless their local agencies are strong, then the network itself isn't strong, which I found quite an interesting comment. And as you probably are aware, we've had a number of changes at Havas in South Africa in the last few months. So we're waiting to hear waiting to see what the results of those changes are going to be. But yes, they are convinced that you can't be successful without successful local offices. They also believe that people work for people, and that in order to attract the best people, it's really important to have an agency that is viable, and then those people in turn will attract even better people. So they've increased their global capabilities in terms of CX, their studios, consulting and PR, and they have an unrelenting focus on creative. But I think what is possibly one of their greatest strengths is that they are extremely successful with new business. And what Chris was saying, which I found very interesting, was that he believes that the strength of an agency's new business drive actually determines how successful that agency is going to be, not on the basis of how much business they win, but how the agency gears itself to new business is indicative of then how it services its existing clients and how it pulls the whole team together in order to build the best agency. I found that really quite a refreshing outlook. So that was important. And then we had some detail on the various divisions and how they've grown, how they've consolidated, how they interconnect when they are doing various pitches, and obviously running the business. They had a great sizzle reel to show us, and what they did differently from any other agency so far this week was to have 2 clients there who talked about what it was like to work with them. So I'll be sharing more detail on that when we get together in June. And we had some case studies from AmeriSave, from the New York Presbyterian Hospital, about an app called Stable, which I thought was really good, and then something from monster.com, and as well as Yellowstone, Adidas, and Dr. Rick. So more on that in June. From there, we went to Huge, Huge. We met this agency a few years ago. They're in Brooklyn, and they have always been digital inventors, digital makers. They make products, etc. But they're transforming their business as well. Although they've experienced growth, it's been at 1%, which has been far too low for them and also for IPG Group, who they obviously belong to. And they see themselves as a growth accelerating company as opposed to an agency. And they talked about how they have restructured themselves, how they're managing that, and then most importantly, how they are looking at their remuneration models. And they're not remotely interested in doing FTEs and hours. They have designed products which will deliver the things and services that the clients need, and all of these products are linked to value. They demonstrated a few of those products in order so that we understood. So I'll be able to go into a bit more detail about that. And in order to obviously transform, they've had to transform their workforce as well, and that's happening in a fairly natural way with attrition, etc., etc. And they're growing, and they're looking at margins, a minimum margins of 25 to 30%, which is very encouraging, and that's actually how agencies run successfully. So it was a very good session, extremely good, and very full of lots of learnings, which I'm be happy to share. So from then on, we went into our speed dating. So we saw 5 agencies altogether. The first one was MOA, and then we saw Zulu Alpha Kilo, who we've seen before. We then saw Marcus Thomas, Matt Hoffer, and Nelson Schmidt. And all 5 agencies took us through their credentials. They showed us one case study. They were to the point. And the point about these sessions was really to demonstrate the value of independent agencies and how important they are and why clients like working with them, because they're nimble, they're flexible, they haven't got to report into a major global structure. So it was really interesting. And these aren't small agencies. I mean, the one agency, I think it was Nelson Schmidt, was, let's see, no, it wasn't that one, but Marcus Thomas, sorry, was 260 employees. We're not talking about small agencies here. And they actually have offices in Canada, in the US, and in Latin America. So these are agencies that are a fairly substantial size. Zulu Alpha Kilo is 130 people, and they have offices in Vancouver, Montreal, and New York. So we're talking about agencies that are independent, that have built themselves strongly, and have a story to tell. So that was the afternoon. It was really good and a very good day. And then today is our final day, and we've got 2 really great agencies to see. The first one, well, in fact, is it an agency or isn't it? Typically on a Friday morning at AdForum, we've always seen RGA, and we've always seen Barry Waxman, who was the executive chairman of RGA. But he left after a number of years. He left and he started his own startup called Proto. And so we're going to be hearing all about that this morning, and again at the World Trade Center. So that incredible lift that you go into to go up there. And then we'll be seeing at midday, or just before midday, we'll be seeing the TBWA group and meeting with the CEO, Troy Ruhanen, who is always fabulous and always has lots of interesting, refreshing things to tell us. So, and that'll be the wrap up. Well, at least we will wrap up by about 1:30, and then we'll do a review of the whole of AdForum and our key learnings. And then it'll be time to go home. Okay, so I will do my recording of the final session. I'm not quite sure when, probably when I'm back in South Africa on Monday. But we'll see. I might be able to get it done today, but otherwise, yeah. So I'll see you all again anyway on Monday. Okay, take care, have good weekends, and yeah, look forward to being back in South Africa. Bye for now.